When the shadows all around me and the hardest battles coming at me, rushing in like a flood. And my heart is at its farthest in the hardest moments I've imagined. Still I know who you are. You are the God of the valleys. You're the God in the storm. And through every battle, yes, I know who you are. You're my anchor of hope in the rage of the seas. You are the God who fights for me. Who fights for me? Who fights for me? In the shadow of your presence, I can feel your power working in this. You fill my fears with your peace. Yeah. It's your glory and your story, and I know your love is working for me. Lord, I know that you are good, 'cause you are the God of the valleys. You're the God in the storm, and through every battle, yes, I know who you are. You're my anchor of hope in the rage of the seas. You are the God who fights for me. And there's no giant too strong that my God can't slay. There's no mountain too big He won't throw to the waves. And there's no weapon that's formed that my God can't break. You're the God who fights for me. You are the God of the valleys. You're the God in the storm, and through every battle, yes, I know who you are. You're my anchor of hope in the rage of the seas. You are the God of victory. You are the God who fights for me. You are the God who fights for me. Who fights for me. You are the God who fights for me. Who fights for me. You are the God who fights for me. Who fights for me. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to prayer and devotion on this beautiful Friday morning. If this is your first time with us, welcome. My name is Hillary. I'm the pastoral intern at the United Methodist Church in New Brunswick. And if this is your 500th time with us, welcome back. Happy to have you. Well, I can't see you, but happy to know that you're here. Today, our devotional is titled, "You'll never know if fear is telling the truth about what lies ahead until you take a step toward it." And the verse that we're looking at is from Matthew chapter 14, verse 27, which says, "Jesus immediately said to them, 'Take courage. It is I. Don't be afraid.'" So one of the fears common to all of us is fear of the unknown. It's tied to other big fears like the fear of the dark or failure or fear of death. What these fears have in common is not knowing what's coming. For some people, uncertainty is like a day at the circus. But for others,
If they don't know what's coming, they know they can't control the outcome, and the loss of control leaves them feeling helpless. Understanding the reality of our situation makes life unpredictable and reminds us how small we are. But fear only has the power we give it. You've experienced this before. The speeches we're certain will bomb and end up moving the people who hear them. The relationships we fear will become stronger when we drop the act and allow people to truly see us. The stories we tell ourselves about the unknown are always worse than the future that unfolds. We can only move past our fears by testing them. We can be vigilant and prudent without being reckless. But you won't find out if fear is telling the truth about danger ahead unless you take a step toward it. You might find out you had a reason to fear, and then you can use the new information to move in a different direction. But you can't learn anything about the unknown till you walk right up to it, stare it in the eye, and say you're not listening anymore. One of Jesus' favorite phrases was "fear not." He knew we weren't created to be anxious and stressed out. We were made to live, to engage, to remain open to the people and opportunities we encounter. Fear only has the power we give it, and Jesus said we shouldn't give it any. Good morning, good morning. If you are just now joining us, our devotion today is titled, "You'll Never Know if Fear is Telling the Truth About What Lies Ahead Until You Take a Step Toward It." And although that sounds kind of scary, it is very, very true, right? Because fear is one of those things that a lot of us feel, and it comes differently for all of us, but we all feel it in a different way, whether you're fearful about the unknown or you're fearful about what you do know is coming. And as we all feel this fear, I think that as we try to ease ourselves, right, and because we don't know what's coming, we go to the Word. And what does the Word say? It says that we shouldn't be anxious about anything. It says that in everything, bring our requests to God, and He'll make it okay. Like, it says that God didn't give us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And as we start to remember those things, it gives us the strength and the courage to tackle the things that make us fearful. Because one of the things that fear does is it leaves you feeling stuck and stagnant. It makes you feel as if you can't move, as if you can't go forward, as if you can't go and do what God is calling you to do. And fear is a tactic that the enemy will 100% use to keep you from fulfilling the call that God has for you. Because there's to be scared, to be fearful, to take a moment to just sit and be stuck, that means that you're not doing what God calls you to do, and that's exactly what the enemy wants. But we can't let our fear paralyze us. We can't let our fear keep us from moving to where we are supposed to go, because God has greater things for us to do, right? And as I'm saying this, I'm thinking of Moses, and I'm thinking about how he was fearful to go and speak, because he felt like, I have a speech impediment. I can't do this. I can't go and free your people. And it was fear. It was fear that he would fail what God called him to do. But God, it didn't matter that he was fearful, and it didn't matter that he didn't feel qualified, and it didn't matter that he didn't know what was coming ahead for him. All that mattered was that God called him to do something, and he said to go and do it. And in that same way, we have to think about the spaces in our life where God is saying to go and do something, and we can't stop ourselves because we are fearful. We can't stop ourselves because we don't know if we're qualified for it. We can't stop ourselves because we don't know if we're going to do a good job, or we don't know exactly if we heard him correctly. I think that it's also important to know that you shouldn't get paralyzed by a choice, right? If you feel like God is calling you to something, but you could also do something else, and you're not really sure which one God is really calling you to, when you take a step, especially if you take a step in faith, he will show you the right way. But if you never move, he can never guide you, right? If you have a guide dog, when you stop, the guide dog is going to stop, right? I believe that's how it works. If it's not how it works, I'm sorry. But when you stop, the guide dog stops, right? But when you start moving, it's going to lead you in the right direction. It's going to stop you when you need to be stopped. It's going to tell you when you need to go left and when you need to go right, and it's going to help you. But you have to start taking steps first, because if you're just standing, the guide dog is going to think we're at rest. We don't have to go anywhere. There's nothing else that we have to do. And in that same way, you need to understand that even if you're fearful, take a step. Allow God to redirect you. Allow God to guide you on the path that you are supposed to take. But they can only happen when we have faith that God will carry us, faith that God will save us, faith that He will show us the right way. So that's my encouragement today. And the devotional says, what's fear saying to you today? And what's God saying to you today? Right? Because, sometimes we listen to fear so heavily and we forget what God is actually saying. So I encourage you to think about both of those things. And I encourage you to think about what is keeping you stuck and keeping you from moving forward and taking a step. And then I encourage you to just take a step, and God will redirect you 100%. It has happened so many times in my life where I didn't know exactly what I was supposed to be doing or where I was supposed to go. And so I took a step in what I thought was right and what I thought God was calling me to. And sometimes I was exactly right, and sometimes He redirected me. But there was no harm in trying, and there was no harm in keeping my heart in the right place, and making sure that as I was moving, I was praying and just allowing God to lead and to guide. And so I encourage all of you to walk in that as well and to do that as well. So please join me in a word of prayer. Father God, thank you so much for waking us up today, for allowing us this time to gather, for one of your miracles that we constantly every day get to experience, of being able to gather together and not even be in the same room. God, many years ago that would have been just a figment of people's imagination, but we actually get to do it now because you're good, because you are great, God. So God, I just want to pray for every single person that is feeling fear, that is feeling fearful, that is feeling stuck, that is feeling stagnant, that is feeling like they don't know where to go and they don't know what to do. And I just pray that they would put their faith and their hope and their trust in you, God, and they would allow you to show them where to move, where to walk, what to do. And I just pray that you would give them the courage to take a step, in whatever direction, so that you can lead them to the right direction, so that you can show them where the path is leading, God. Because as we move, you will move us, but we just have to take the time to trust in you, God. And I want to pray for anyone who is grieving, anyone who has dealt with loss. And I pray that they would know that you are with them, God, that you are comforting them, that you are working things for their good, that you are in their lives, and that at any moment they can call to you for comfort and for peace and for help. And God, I just pray for all of those that are celebrating, God, and I just pray that they would know that you celebrate with them, and that you are a part of their success stories, and that you are a part of their happiness, God. Lead us and guide us on your path, God, and let your will be done in our lives. Not anyone else's will, God, but yours. And let it be done here on earth as it is in heaven, God. And so with that, please join me in the prayer that we were taught to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, and glory forever. Amen. I hope that this was helpful. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, everyone. Happy Friday. And please join us in church on Sunday. And I don't know if we have to register your attendance, but if not, please just come on over and join us, and we would love to see you Sunday morning. But have a wonderful, wonderful day. Happy Friday, everyone, and don't be fearful. Fear not. Be anxious for nothing, and trust in God.